Hello everyone, this is part 3 of What If Naruto Celebrated Valentine's with Hinata, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Aside from the conversation that had taken place, the journey was a rather quiet one. Kankuro stayed in the lead with Temari and Gaara after the conversation that he had had with Naruto and the rest of them, and he hadn't said a word to them since. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura and Hinata hung back, each of them holding on to their loves. Thoughts flowed through both Sasuke's and Naruto's heads of the last fight they had with Itachi. It had been a horrible fight, both of them having been beaten to pulps. That man, Sasuke thought as they walked. I can't believe it. He's back again after all these years. But why attack the land of wind? What does he hope to gain from it? Damn it, this is frustrating. Even though Naruto had thoughts of Itachi swimming through his head, one thing kept repeating itself over and over again. I don't care what happens to me, just as long as Hinata is safe. I would to protect her. Naruto, Hinata said, snapping him out of his thoughts. He looked down into her wide purple eyes. Is something wrong? You've been kind of quiet since we left the village. Oh, no, it's nothing, he told her. Then he thought to himself, damn it, I've got to stop doing that. I'm making her worry about me over nothing. Hinata wasn't the only one worrying about her man. Sakura remembered how Sasuke had ended up in the hospital or a while the last time he fought Itachi. She was worried that this time it might be worse. She looked at Sasuke for a minute, and then looked back at the ground. Sasuke must have been able to tell what she was thinking, because he said, don't worry Sakura. I don't plan on anytime soon. Sakura looked up at him with tears in her eyes and said, thank you Sasuke. She wiped the tears from her eyes and laid her head on her shoulder. They kept walking until they came to a small village. The people of the village were running around, all of them setting up a stall or booth. What's going on here? Gaara asked, watching every person that crossed his path. Looks like the village is getting ready for a festival, Temari said. With a smile she asked, do we want to stay here tonight? It was painfully clear that she wanted to check out the festival. Sure, why not? Sasuke said as he watched all the activity in the village. Yeah, it could be fun, Naruto said with a smile. They all looked at Gaara, as if waiting for his approval. I don't really care, Gaara said, never even changing his expression. They all smiled a little smile. They all knew that even though he didn't show it, Gaara wanted to see the festival and have some fun. Let's go find an inn then, Temari said. They walked down the street a little ways, when Naruto spotted something in a shop window. After they had passed the shop, he said, excuse me for a minute Hinata. He let go of her arm, then went and whispered something in Sasuke's ear. Sasuke looked at him for a second, and nodded. Temari, me and Naruto are going to take a look around. We'll catch up with you guys later. With that, he let go of Sakura's arm, and he and Naruto started back the way that they came, leaving both Hinata and Sakura wondering where it was they were running off to. An hour passed, and Naruto and Sasuke still had yet to come back. Where the heck are those two? They've been gone for quite a while now, Sakura said. She and Hinata were in Temari's room, still wondering where their boyfriends had run off to. Geez, you two need to stop worrying, Temari said. They will come back. Besides, it's not like they're in any danger. She does have a point Sakura, Hinata said as she leaned against the windowsill and stared out into the street, where lanterns were being lit in preparation for the festival that evening. They aren't little kids. They're our boyfriends. We need to trust them more. Sighing, Sakura said, you're right. Then she noticed that Temari was getting out of her clothes, and pulling a bundle from the backpack that she had been carrying. Temari, what are you doing? I'm changing into my kimono, of course, she responded. I can't very well attend a festival without wearing it. A kimono, or crud, Sakura thought. Then she whispered to Hinata, saying, Hinata, do you have a kimono for me to wear? I don't have one. I didn't know we would be needing one, so I didn't even pack one for myself, Hinata whispered back. I thought we were just going on a mission. I didn't even think about there being a festival in any of the villages we stopped in. The two of them said, "We're going back to our rooms." They left Temari to change in peace, and went back to their own rooms to lie on their beds. What am I going to do? Hinata asked herself. Naruto wants to go to the festival so badly, but I don't have something to wear to it. Hinata thought about it for a minute, and then decided, I guess I'll just stay here. Naruto can go have a good time. At that moment, there was a knock at the door. Come in, Hinata said in a slightly disappointed voice. Naruto walked in the door carrying a small package with him. Oh Naruto, you're back. Hinata got up from the bed and hugged him. He looked at her with a smile on his face. I was only gone for a little while, he said, setting down the package. Then he kissed her. But, I missed you too. Oh Naruto, Hinata said before she kissed him again. After they parted, Naruto asked her, so, are you ready to go see the festival? Hinata's face fell and she looked down at the ground. I can't go, she said sadly. What? Why not? Naruto asked, sounding disappointed and confused. I don't have a kimono to wear, she said still looking at the ground. Oh, is that all? Then here, you'll want to open this, he said, shoving the small package that he had been carrying. Hinata looked at it, and then proceeded to open it. When she finished opening the package, she was holding a deep blue kimono in her hands, decorated with light purple lilies and cherry blossom petals the same color as her eyes. Naruto, it's beautiful, Hinata said, a little choked up. Is this why you and Sasuke ran off earlier? To go get this? Yeah, I spotted a shop that was selling kimonos when we walked into town. So, I figured that you didn't have one with you to wear to the festival, and I wanted to buy one for you, Naruto said blushing. I thought it might be the same for Sakura, so I suggested it to Sasuke, and he went and bought one for her too. That's why we were gone so long. Oh, thank you Naruto, Hinata said. The festival was a big one. Stand after stand was set up all around the town, some wafting pleasant smells of food into the crowd, while others promoted games and prizes to lure in customers. This place is great, Hinata said next to Naruto. Oh, everything looks like fun, Sakura said from next to Sasuke. Those two were excited by everything they saw, but the dates had only eyes for them. Naruto and Sasuke couldn't take their eyes off of the girlfriend, who looked absolutely stunning in their kimonos. Both Hinata and Sakura wore their long hair dressed up in hair clips and a few berets. Their kimonos, except for a few differences in the location of the flowers, and the fact that Sakura's was red and pink while Hinata's was blue and purple, were pretty much the same, making the girls a matching pair. Naruto and Sasuke weren't the only ones that had noticed how good the girlfriends had looked either. Every guy around them was staring at the two girls, some of them blushing. Hey, those girls are cute, a guy off to the side said. He was built about the same as Sasuke and Naruto. Let's see if we can get a date out of them. I don't think that's a good idea, his friend said. I think they're with those guys there. He pointed to Naruto and Sasuke when he said this. Trust me, you don't want to mess with them. Yeah right, the first guy said, arrogance soaking his voice. They don't look all that tough. Hell, they look like they would run at the sight of me. With that, he started towards Hinata and Sakura. All right, his friend said smiling. It's your funeral. The guy didn't hear what his friend had said, and just kept walking. He reached Hinata and Sakura and said, hey ladies, how about a date with me? Both girls were alone for the moment. Naruto and Sasuke had gone off to buy them something to drink, leaving the girls to wait for them at the takoyaki stand. They both looked at him and Sakura said, no thanks. We're taken. Oh, come on, the guy said. He grabbed onto Sakura's hand. You don't seriously like that guy, do you? Yes, I do. Now let go, Sakura said, trying to pull her hand away. The guy tightened his grip. No, I won't, the guy said. Not until you or your friend here say yes to a date with me. Suddenly, the guy felt a hand on his shoulder. You heard her, buddy, a cool, calm, collected voice said from behind him. Let go of her. Sasuke, Sakura cried. Sasuke, the man thought. He turned to look at the man behind him, and nearly screamed as when he was greeted by two fierce-looking Sharingan eyes. He fell onto his butt, and scooted backwards away from Sasuke. Why you're, he bumped into something. Looking up, he was met by a pair of red eyes. He nearly screamed again. That's right, Naruto said, looking down on the man's pupils growing even narrower. He's Sasuke Uchiha. Now, who do you think I am? NNR Naruto Uzumaki. The man exclaimed with fear in his voice. The two demons of the Hidden Leaf Village. He looked from them to Hinata and Sakura. Those are your girls. Hey, I'm sorry. Didn't know they were yours. He turned towards the girls and said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He looked like he was close to tears, and a wet spot had appeared on his pants. I think he got the point, Naruto, Sasuke said, his Sharingan eyes returning to his normal ones. Naruto's had also changed back to his normal blue ones. Yeah, I think you're right, Naruto said smiling. The two of them turned, took the girl's arms, and walked off, leaving the guy in a teary, balled up mess. The guy's friend walked over to him and said, I told you that you shouldn't have done that. Not far off, Sasuke and Naruto were having a good laugh with the girls. Can you believe it? Naruto said between laughs. The guy actually wet his pants. Well, you guys scared the crap out him, so I'm not surprised. Sakura said. Did you hear what he called you guys? Hinata asked. Yeah, the demons of the Hidden Leaf Village, Sasuke said laughing. I think he was just relieved that we didn't K him. I'm surprised that you didn't, Naruto said to him. If he had grabbed Hinata's hand like that, I would have. This statement caused Hinata to look at him. Then she squeezed his arm even harder, leaned on his shoulder, and said, Thank you, Naruto. He looked at her for a second, and then said, No problem. All right, that's enough obsessing over that, Sakura said. We're here to have fun, so let's get going. Yeah, they all shouted, and the two couples went off to do their own thing. The night was perfect. They played games, ate a lot of food, and just spent most of the night having a good time. By about midnight, the festival was starting to wind down, and the shops were starting to close up. While the night went quick, Hinata said. She had a stuffed fox in her hands, and the two of them were sharing some cotton candy. Yeah, you're right, Naruto said. Let's find the others. Naruto, you have some cotton candy on your face, Hinata said. She picked a small amount of the fluffy pink substance from his face and stuck it in her mouth. This surprised him a little. Thanks, Hinata, he said, blushing a little more, and causing her to laugh. What's so funny? Oh, nothing, she said. Then she leaned against him and said, Thank you, Naruto. I had a wonderful time. Hey, there they are, a voice to the left said. They turned to see the other walking towards them. Sakura had a large stuffed bear in her arms, and she was sharing a drink with Sasuke. Temari had a small bag of goldfish hanging from her left hand, Kankuro had a few water balloons hanging from his fingers, and Gaara even had a fox mask hanging to the side of his head. It's getting late, you guys, Temari said. Let's get back to the inn. We set out early tomorrow, so we need to get our rest. They all agreed. They started back toward the inn, all of them unaware of the fact that they were being watched from very far off. Itachi, Kisame, and a young girl were at the top of a cliff overlooking the village. Exactly as I planned, Itachi said. They're in the village. Good, Kisame said, grinning and baring pointed teeth. Now all that's left is to get close to them. Don't worry, Itachi said. I already have that part of the plan thought out. Turning to the young girl, he said, Tokiko, you will soon have somebody to watch over, so be prepared. The young girl looked at Itachi and said, Of course, master. Hey Naruto, Sasuke said loudly from outside Naruto's and Hinata's door the next morning. Hinata, are you guys awake yet? We've got to leave soon. He knocked on the door with his left hand while he took a sip of coffee from the cup in his right. Come on, wake up you guys. What the hell? Sakura said, walking out of her room. Haven't you woken them up yet? Trust me, I've tried, Sasuke said, a little irritated. They might as well be S for the response I'm getting. Well then, why don't you go inside and try? Sakura asked. Please, I can't pick locks that well, he said. While he took another sip of coffee, Sakura knelt down, summoned up a little chakra, and manipulated the lock on the door with it until there was a click. Sasuke almost spilled coffee down his front, he was so surprised. When did you learn to do that? Please, I always forgot my keys when I first moved in with you, so I had to learn. Sakura said. So, shall we? She asked, opening the door. The two of them walked into the room. The first thing that they noticed was that neither Naruto nor Hinata was in bed. What the heck? Sasuke said, very surprised. Those two aren't even here. And all of their stuff is packed and sitting on the bed, Sakura noted, spotting both Naruto's and Hinata's backpacks at the one end of the bed. Well, then where the heck are they? Sasuke asked. It's not like they left after all. Suddenly he noticed something that he hadn't when they first walked in the room. There was a light coming from the crack at the bottom of the bathroom door. Noticing this, Sasuke went over to the door for the entire room, then opened and closed it, making it loud enough to be heard. Sasuke, what are you? Sakura tried to say, but Sasuke brought a finger to his lips and pointed to the bathroom door. Sakura looked to where he was pointing and noticed the light at the bottom of the door. Nodding, she tiptoed towards the door, and so did he. They both pressed an ear against it when they reached it. They could hear a pair of muffled voices coming from inside. Man, I thought those two would never leave, Naruto said from the other side of the door. It sounded like he had a mouthful of something. It sounded like the shower was running too. Oh Naruto, they were just checking up on us, Hinata said. It's not like they mean any harm. There was the sound of water being gargled and spit. You're right Hinata, Naruto said. Anyway, they're gone now. So, mind if I join you in there? There was the sound of K from the other side of the door, and they heard Hinata say, Minty. Then there was a giggle. Sasuke and Sakura couldn't believe what they were hearing. The two of them were already bathing together. Yesterday she screamed when Naruto walked in on us in the bath, Sakura said quietly. Now they're showering together. At this rate, Sasuke said quietly to her. It won't be long before they're like us. You mean? Sakura started to ask, but didn't get to finish her question. A yell came from behind the door. Waterfall jutsu. Naruto yelled. Ha! Sasuke and Sakura thought. They didn't even have time to react as the door opened and they were with a wall of water. They flew backwards about 3 feet, and landed on their backs, completely soaked. I told you it would work, Hinata said from the doorway. Yeah, but I didn't think they would actually fall for it, Naruto said. Sasuke and Sakura sat up. They were greeted by the sight of Naruto and Hinata, both fully clothed and dry as a bone. What the heck? Sasuke said. We thought you guys were in the shower. Nope, Naruto said. We knew you two might snoop, so we decided to play a little trick on you. Oh, you two are both Sakura said as she wrung the water out of her hair. So, was everything we heard fake? Well, the K wasn't, Hinata said blushing. Figures, Sakura said wringing more water from her hair. If you'll excuse us, we're going to go change into some dry clothes. The couple left the room, dripping water as they went. You know that they are going to be mad at us for a while, Hinata said as they left. Yeah, but isn't it our business what the two of us do behind closed doors? Naruto asked looking down at her. She blushed and nodded. I still can't believe that they thought we were in the shower together. He laughed a little, and then both he and Hinata turned red at the thought. That won't happen anytime soon, Naruto thought to himself. Naruto, let's head downstairs and wait for them, Hinata said, still a little red. Why yeah, okay, Naruto said, walking to the bed to get his pack. As he walked, his foot caught on one of the bedposts. Oops, he said right before he fell on top of Hinata. They both hit their heads off of each other's. Ouch, Hinata said, rubbing her forehead, and wincing in pain. She opened her eyes and was greeted by Naruto's face. I'm sorry, he said, staring down into her light purple eyes. I didn't mean to do that. It's okay, Hinata said. Her words trailed off as stared deeply into his blue eyes. They both blushed a little but neither of them moved. Each of them was mesmerized by the beauty of the other's eyes. Ah, Hinata said when she checked the spot. You gave me AH. Sorry about that, Naruto said, trying to catch his breath. It's okay, Hinata said. Naruto couldn't help but smile. Neither could Hinata. They loved each other, and they wanted to show it. Naruto got up, and Hinata sat up with him. She buried her head in his sea, saying, Naruto, I love you so much. Do you love me too? Naruto smiled, then embraced her, saying, yes, and I promise that I will never stop loving you. They stayed like that for a while, and then Naruto said, come on, they're probably waiting for us. Hinata nodded into his shirt, and the two of them got up, grabbed their packs, and left the room, arm in arm. Naruto, what is that on your end? Gaara asked halfway through the day. He had kept quiet as always, but he was curious. Naruto hadn't had the mark the night before, and he had wondered where it had come from. Huh. Gaara's question had caught Sasuke's attention. Naruto has something on his end. Sasuke walked up closer to Naruto, trying to get a better look. It's nothing, Naruto said, adjusting his jacket collar, and a sweat drop appearing on his forehead. Hey, Hinata's got something on her too, Temari said from behind Naruto and Hinata, who were still walking arm in arm. Hinata pulled closer to Naruto, so that the H would be hidden from view. Sakura obviously was curious, because she got really close to Naruto's one side and glared at Naruto's end. She spied a little bit of the mark just above the top of his collar. Just what did you two do after we left this morning? She asked with a devilish grin on her face. Another drop of sweat appeared on Naruto's forehead. Hinata started to blush a little. Why do you ask? Naruto asked nervously. Mainly because you both have AH on your N, Sakura said. Sasuke's eyes snapped in Naruto's direction, and he had an eyebrow. Both Naruto and Hinata turned the brightest red that they could. Looks like we've been found out, Naruto said to Hinata. Oh, maybe it was a bad idea to give each other one, Hinata said. Suddenly, Sasuke came up and put an arm around Naruto's N and pulled him into a headlock. He then proceeded to give him a noogie. Ow, ow, what the hell are you doing? Naruto said. Man, I never thought that you had it in you, Sasuke said. He kept walking and kept Naruto in a headlock. Sakura stayed behind with Hinata. So did Temari. Really? Hinata asked. Wow, I thought you guys hit it off. At first we didn't, Sakura said. We hadn't heard from each other in such a long time that we didn't know what to say to one another. It didn't take long for us though. The same was true for me and Kiba, Temari chimed in. We weren't sure of what to say to each other at first either. She smiled, and it looked to Hinata and Sakura like she was reminiscing of old times. Anyway, we get along like you guys do now. He even gave me AH too. She pulled down her neckline to reveal a small purple mark. His teeth caught though, she said pointing out two little scabs where Kiba's teeth had scraped. Wow, I wouldn't have guessed, Hinata said. He doesn't talk about his love life. Anyway, Sakura said, what else happened between the two of you? And nothing, Hinata said. Oh come on, Sakura said. You can tell me. Hinata refused to answer, and Sakura ended up begging her the rest of the afternoon while Sasuke and Naruto talked. The gang of ninjas stopped for the night in a clearing in the woods. A small fire burned in the middle of the small clearing, crackling and popping as it burned. Around the fire, the entire gang sat. Naruto and Hinata sat off to one side of the clearing. Naruto was asleep against the trunk of a tree, and he had his right arm wrapped around Hinata. Sasuke and Sakura weren't far off, or much different for that matter. Sasuke was asleep too. He was leaning against one of the biggest trees in the clearing, while Sakura leaned against his shoulder, sleeping, and with a small smile spread across her face. Temari was spread out in front of the fire. She mumbled, Kiba, as she slept. Kankuro was asleep just like everyone else, but he had a couple of kunai knives around him as he slept. The only one who wasn't asleep out of all of them was Gaara, who was currently up in one of the tallest trees around the campsites. He stared up at the moon, and the moonlight reflected in his eyes. Taking his dark eyes off of the moon, he looked down at his sleeping friends. All of them have somebody, he thought as he looked at them all. What do I have to do to get somebody like that? What do I have to do to make a connection like that? He let the matter go, and turned to stare up at the moon again. As he turned, something caught his attention. It was fast, but he had seen something move in the corner of his eye. What was that? He thought as he stood up. He leaped from the top of the tree, and landed silently. He looked around for a minute, and found footprints leading away from the clearing. Whose are these? He thought to himself. The too small to belong to one of the others. He decided to follow the prints, moving fast and quietly. He followed the prints to about a mile from the clearing before he spotted a fire. Gaara hid, taking refuge in one of the trees. Looking down he spotted 3 figures, one small, and 2 large, all of them wearing red and black cloaks. It's Itachi Uchiha, Gaara thought. He removed the cork from his gourd, and then moved farther down the tree. He was now within earshot, and could hear what they were saying. And we'll have him, Itachi said. Yeah, and all of that power, Kisame said, smiling with glee. But how do we get close enough to replace one of them? It's not like they're going to let us. Oh, that's all taken care of, Itachi said. It seems that one little fly has wandered carelessly into the spider's web. Itachi glanced up into the tree, right at Gaara. How did he? Gaara's thought was short as he was jabbed in the end from behind. Tokiko had moved from here positions so fast that even the sand didn't have time to react. Gaara was out before he even hit the ground. Well, that was easy, Kisame said looking down at Gaara. He started to approach the boy. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Itachi said. Kisame gave him a strange look, but then got what he said. The sand in the gourd moved, and wrapped around Kisame's leg. Tokiko was at Gaara's side instantly, and she stuck a needle into his end. The sand fell to the ground almost instantly and stayed there. What the hell was that? Kisame asked. You forget, Itachi said. This boy is possessed by Shukaku of the sand. The boy may be unconscious, but the demon is awake and well. So, I had Tokiko here create a special drug to keep it at bay. Now there should be no problems in keeping him here. Won't they know that you've taken his place? Kisame asked. They won't know the difference, Itachi said calmly. Making a few hand signs, he changed into Gaara's double. I'll check in regularly. Glancing down at the real Gaara, Itachi said, make sure he goes nowhere. With that, he left, heading back towards the clearing, and towards all of Gaara's unsuspecting friends. The morning came quickly in the forest. A few members of the group were starting to stir, the first of them being Naruto and Hinata. Naruto opened his eyes, and was greeted by the warm rays of the morning sun. Hinata stirred as he started moving. Good morning, Naruto, she said with a smile. Good morning to you too, Naruto said. Then he her. From the top of the tree, Itachi looked down on the two of them. The Hyuga girl, Itachi thought. The boy must have an incredible amount of luck to end up with her. From what I've heard, Hiashi Hyuga is incredibly protective of his daughter. He continued to stare down at him, now focusing mainly on Naruto. Still, that is not what matters. We've come for Naruto, and that is all that matters. While Naruto and Hinata went to a small stream near the clearing to wash up, the rest of the team started to wake up. Sasuke and Sakura were up first, followed closely by Temari and Kankuro. Sasuke Sakura good morning, while the other two wiped the sleep from their eyes. Naruto and Hinata just came back from the stream. Morning guys, Naruto said using a towel to dry his hands. Then Hinata asked, did you guys all sleep well? Considering that we slept on the cold, hard ground, yeah, pretty well, Sakura said. The sarcastic tone in her voice was pretty obvious. A small drop of sweat appeared on Temari's forehead. Hey, don't worry, we'll be staying in the next village we come to tonight. Then she thought to herself, good thing too. I hate sleeping on the ground myself. Hey Temari, is there anything going on in the next village that we should know about? Sasuke asked. Like maybe another festival. No, not his time, Temari said. But there is a cool dance club in this village. Big place, loud music, and all the fun you could ever want. Cool. Naruto nearly shouted. We've got to check it out. The rest of the group agreed with him. At the top of the tree, Itachi thought, are these fools really ninja? They seem more concerned about having fun than completing their mission. Hey, Gaara! Kankuro shouted from the ground, catching Itachi's attention. Come on down. It's time to get moving. Fools, Itachi thought. Then he jumped down, and started walking with the rest of them. They're on the move, Kisame said, watching the group through a set of binoculars. They don't even realize that it is Itachi with them. He smirked as he said this. Tokiko. Yes, Master Kisame, Tokiko said, bowing to him a little bit. It's time for us to get going, he said. Have you given the boy his shot? Yes, Master, Tokiko said. His demon side shall give you no trouble. Good, Kisame said. Then he strapped his sword across his back, and picked up Gaara. Master Kisame, I have a question, Tokiko said. What is it? Kisame asked. He hated being asked questions. Well, I was wondering, why are we after this Naruto person? She asked. What makes him so special? Kisame stared at her for a minute, and then said, I'll tell you later. Right now, we've got to follow them. Then he jumped away, carrying Gaara over his shoulder, and Tokiko following behind. The journey for the group that day was as uneventful as the first. There was almost no conversation, and the girls held onto their boyfriends like they might disappear if they didn't. They came to the next village in the early evening, and checked into the inn with no problems. Before they went to their rooms, they all talked over one matter. So we'll change and meet back here when we're ready to go, right? Temari asked them all. Yeah, they all said, nodding. Itachi said nothing though, just closed his eyes on the matter. They all headed to their respective rooms. Naruto and Hinata arrived at their room, still grasping each other. I wonder what I should wear. Naruto thought to himself when they went in the door. I don't think my orange jumpsuit would be appropriate for a dance club. I think you should wear jeans, Hinata said, and maybe a shirt with a collar. They would look good on you. It was like she had read his mind. Slightly surprised, Naruto said, Thanks. What about you? What are you going to wear? Hinata looked embarrassed by the question. Turning red and bringing her hand to her lips, she said, I don't know yet. Is there something that you want me to wear? She looked even more embarrassed when she asked the question. Her face turned deep red. And no, there isn't, Naruto stuttered. It was his turn to turn red now. You don't need to wear anything special for me. You look great in anything. He smiled when he said this. Then he thought to himself, man, that was the corniest thing that I could ever say. However, Hinata didn't seem to think so. She had leaned up and kissed him out of nowhere. When they parted, she said, thank you Naruto. Then she hugged him around his midsection. Looking down at her with a smile, he embraced her and said, you're welcome Hinata. She looked up at him, slightly teary, and then they kissed again. Meanwhile, in Temari's, Kankuro's, and Itachi's room, Itachi was having a few troubles of his own. Temari had started to change her clothes, and he was still in the room. Without batting a lash, he asked, what are you doing? Changing my clothes. You don't expect me to go to a club in my ninja outfit, do you? She continued to change while she said it. Should I leave? He asked her. Then he thought to himself, I may be emotionless, but there is only so much that I can take. He could feel an coming on even as they spoke. Why? Temari asked. We're siblings. It's not like you haven't seen me before. The thought didn't help Itachi. Then Temari asked, shouldn't you be getting ready too, Gaara? Why? Itachi asked. He thought, surely this boy doesn't go to places like this. Because you're coming along with us, aren't you? Temari asked. You usually do. Itachi was almost dumbfounded. The demon of the Sand Village went to clubs, a place where Itachi would never go in his life. Itachi though never showed a bit of surprise. He just stared at her and said nothing. Getting up, he went to Gaara's bag to look for a pair of clothes to wear. Looking through it, he thought to himself, blending in with them could be harder than I thought. I've never been to a club before. What the hell do I wear? He pulled out a shirt and jeans, he looked at it, and thought, this will have to do. Is this the place? Hinata asked later from outside the club. Yep, this is the place, Temari answered. It's huge, Sasuke said, overlooking the building. The place was at least 2 stories tall, making it pretty big by most standards. Wait until you get inside, Temari said. It's even bigger. Plus, shinobi get in for free tonight. Yes, Sakura thought. The group started toward the door, and was met by a guy at the door, who asked, are you shinobi? Don't we look like it? Kankuro asked. The guy wasn't sure if he should answer that, but truthfully, none of them looked like it. Naruto was wearing blue jeans, a short-sleeved, unbuttoned, black collar shirt, a necklace with the symbol for fox hanging from it, while Sasuke had on the same kind of jeans, and a long-sleeved black collared shirt. Kankuro had taken off his hood, exposing light brown hair, and was wearing a sleeveless black t-shirt and black jeans. Itachi had on black jeans and a red and black shirt. Finally, the girls looked like they could be a matching set. They all were wearing black tube tops and miniskirts. Over top of their tops, they had on a net shirt. They all also had a pair of earrings in their ears. However, The entire group all had one thing in common. They were all still wearing their headbands. The guy must have finally noticed, because he opened the door and said, "Sorry. Please come on in." The group entered the club, and Naruto let out a whistle. Wow, this place is huge. The club had 3 stories to it, one on top, one down below, and one in the middle. Each floor was packed with people, who were either laughing, drinking, dancing, or just having a good time. Loud music filled the whole place with sound. "We'll see you guys later," Kankuro said. "We're heading off to the bar to get a drink." "Come on, Gaara." Itachi looked like he wanted to protest, but he went along anyway. "You guys are on your own again tonight," Sasuke said to Naruto and Hinata. "Yeah, so make the most of it," Sakura said. Then they walked off, leaving the couple where they stood. After a few seconds, Naruto said, "What more could we ask for?" Then he put his arm around her shoulder, getting her full attention. "So, you want to dance?" Hinata looked at him for a second and said, "Naruto, I can't dance very well." "Neither can I, but I will anyway." He sounded so sure of himself. Hinata stared at him for another moment, and then said blushing, "Okay." With that, they walked out onto the dance floor. "It's easy to dance," Naruto said. "You just start moving, and soon you will be fine." He started to dance after he said it. Hinata followed his lead. Pretty soon after, she was moving flawlessly to the music, and having a wonderful time. On the outskirts of the town, in a clearing in the woods, a small fire burned, illuminating the clearing. Kisame was up in a tree, keeping watch on the area around them, while Tokiko rested against the trunk of the tree. Gaara was still unconscious, and was currently tied to the trunk of the tree opposite of her. Opening her eyes, Tokiko looked across at the boy. Getting up, she walked over to get a closer look at him. It is hard to believe that this is the terror of the hidden sand village. He doesn't even look all that strong, and he went down so easily. Getting closer to him, she examined the mark for love on his forehead. She was about a foot from him when he opened his eyes. This surprised her so much that she nearly fell on her butt. "Who are you?" Gaara asked. Tugging at his ropes a little, he realized that he wasn't able to get free. "It's pointless to do that," Tokiko said. "Those ropes are tied so tight that not even Master Itachi could get out of them. And don't even bother trying to use your sand. It won't work for you." Gaara had tried this anyway, but to no avail. The sand in his gourd remained still. "HMPH, so you were able to suppress my inner demon. Impressive. Now again, who are you?" "I am Tokiko Unohana. I serve Master Itachi." She sounded serious, but Gaara chuckled a little. "Master Itachi, huh?" Gaara asked. "Why would you serve a man as evil as him?" Tokiko looked like she was ready to explode at the question, but she restrained herself. "How can you call such a good man evil? Out of the goodness of his heart, he saved my life. I owe him my entire existence." "The goodness of his heart. Don't make me laugh," Gaara said. His hooded eyes stayed on her for the entire conversation. "He probably saw potential in you. That's why he saved you. He did it for his own gain." "You're wrong," Tokiko whispered. Then she shouted it. "You're wrong." Kisame jumped down from the tree at this point. "Anything wrong, Tokiko?" he asked. She looked at the ground and said, "No, it's nothing." Behind her, Gaara smirked a little. Naruto and Hinata had danced for almost an entire hour. Tired and sweating, they headed for a free table in a corner of the club. When they reached it, Hinata sat down, and Naruto asked her, "Do you want anything to drink?" They were both short of breath, and something cool and refreshing sounded good to both of them. "Just some water," Hinata said with a smile. "Coming right up," Naruto said. Then he kissed her on the lips and headed off, leaving Hinata sitting there by herself. All around her, guys were either staring at her, or whispering something in their friends' ears about her. Maybe I should have worn something different, Hinata thought looking down at her clothes. This outfit is drawing too much attention. Just then, a couple of guys walked up to her and said, "Hey, would you like to dance with us?" Hinata looked at them nervously, then looked back towards the ground, saying, "No tea thanks. I'm taken." "What you mean by the loser with the blonde hair? Hey, ditch him. He's not worth your time," the one guy said in a sneering voice. "Naruto's not a loser," Hinata yelled at them. The guys looked at her like they couldn't believe what she had said. Then they started to glare at her. Boy, this one has quite the attitude, the one guy said, and then his friend said, good, I like them like that. Then he grabbed Hinata by the wrist. You're coming with us, they both said. They started pulling on her arm, and then they heard the sound of glass being set on the table. The two of them looked around to find Naruto with two glasses in hand. The top half of his face was hidden in the shadows. Would you look at this guy, the one guy said. He must really think that he can take us. Buddy, back down while you can, the other guy advised in a wide tone. We're Jonin from the waterfall village, and we're the strongest ones. Naruto ignored what he was told and turned to face them. The guy and his friend smiled devious smiles. Fine. It's your funeral. With that, they both ran in to punch him. Naruto. Hinata yelled. She closed her eyes, unable to watch. Then she opened them a little bit to see what had happened. When she saw, she opened them fully. Naruto had caught both of their fists in midair, less than a foot from his face. What the? Both of them looked confused. Suddenly, the air around Naruto started to glow bright red. The two Jonin looked a little scared. Then Naruto lifted his head so that his face was in the light. The Jonin looked terrified now, mainly because Naruto's eyes had become red and the lines had thickened on his face, and his canine teeth had become even more pointed. Would you like to know what I do to guys who try to hurt my girlfriend? Naruto asked. His voice was raspy and scary. I gut them like fish. We're so sorry. We didn't anything to her. We swear. The two of them looked like they were ready to cry. Good, Naruto said. Now just so you get the message, with lightning speed, he punched them both in the stomach, and sent them across the club, crashing into the wall, where they left an indent when they hit. Nobody really noticed what had taken place, or cared for that matter. They were too busy having fun. Jerks, Naruto said, changing back to normal. When he turned around, Hinata hugged him around his middle. Thank you, Naruto, she said. Small tears had welled up in her eyes. If you hadn't come back when you did, then they would have. She didn't even finish the sentence, just buried her face in his sea. It's okay, Hinata, Naruto said, embracing her. They won't be coming back to bother you. I promise. Just then, the music in the club started to slow down. Hey, it's a slow song. How about a slow dance? Hinata didn't say anything, but nodded into his sea. He feels so warm, Hinata thought with her head still buried in his sea. I want to be with him. I don't care if we have to stay like this forever. I want to be with him. They both lifted their heads up and stared into each other's eyes. Then they shared a long K with each other. Looking down from the upper level, Sasuke and Sakura had seen everything that had happened. Do you think Naruto went a little overboard? Sakura asked Sasuke, who was enjoying a glass of Pepsi. He had decided to lay off sake since the party for Naruto and Hinata. No, Sasuke said, looking down at the couple. Those guys deserved what they got. Taking another sip of his drink, he said, I probably would have done the same thing. Sakura walked over to him and wrapped her arms around his neck. Thank you, Sasuke, Sakura said, and then kissed him deeply. Meanwhile, at the bar on the same level as Naruto and Hinata, Itachi sat drinking shots of sake, staring at the couple. He had seen the whole event too. Incredible, Itachi thought, taking in another shot of sake. So much power, and it's wasted on this boy. Not to worry though. Soon it shall be ours. Taking in another shot, he started to look a little tipsy, and proceeded to party with Temari and Kankuro. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.